Oh, it's a big one. It's gonna be awkward trying to film this. Hey, what's up people, it's TTC. Just had this parcel here delivered from eBay, and as you can see, it's quite a big, awkward size and shape. It's taking up most of the space I have here. Fingers crossed once it's out of the box it'll be much easier to deal with. I hope so, because this is a real cool one. I'm pretty excited to get this one open. So let's stop just staring at this bloody box and get on with it, shall we? I also just got myself a new microphone, so if you're thinking, damn, his voice sounds sexy, what's up? Alright, here it is. It's Poe Dameron's orange and black X-Wing from those Star Wars films he was in. As you can see, even out the box, it barely fits in this space here, so this is going to be fun. Now, I know this ain't going to be everyone's cup of tea. Oh, the sequels are crap. Oh, Disney ruined Star Wars. Shut up. I like this. It's damn cool. I mean, I do like the X-Wings in the original trilogy, you know, I mean, they're a classic, but I don't know. There's something kind of, maybe a bit bland just about the grey paint scheme, but obviously with this one, you know, you slap black on anything and it just makes it look cool as hell. The sequel trilogy was really good for that, like redesigning sort of classic designs and making them look good, like this, and I'm a big fan of the First Order Stormtroopers, and I think there's a lot of things about this specific toy that Hasbro did a pretty damn good job of, but it's also overall kind of a little bit cheap, kind of a little bit crappy. As much as I like this, you can definitely tell that it's from the era when Hasbro just sort of started dropping the budget across everything, just cheaping out on sculpt and paint and cutting corners wherever they could, basically. The seller was nice enough to throw in the little leaflet from the packaging. This is pretty cool. I mean, technically I have no use for this really, but buying things secondhand and loose, don't really get to see this kind of stuff very often, so I don't know, man. I mean, I just think it's kind of cool to see. I don't want to keep hold of a piece of paper I don't need, and I don't want to throw it away either. Alright, so I'm probably going to have to pick the camera up to try and get some good shots of this, so you'll have to excuse my super shaky hands, but hopefully it'll be worth it in the end, because this is just so cool. It's definitely one where you really need to get right in there and have a look at all the little sculpted details, because even though they cheaped out on painting any of them, they are at least still there, and for the most part it looks pretty cool. Like all the panel lining that runs across the top of the wings here, and you know, it moves all the way down the main body and everything. I mean, that's just like classic on Star Wars ships, innit? I mean, if they hadn't put the effort into that, then they might as well just not have bothered, but no, they actually made the full effort here, sculpted it all over the whole ship. I think maybe just like a bit of a dark wash would probably help all that stand out. I suppose there's something I could probably try next time I get bored. But you know, for the most part, it does look good as it is already. Alright, let's address the elephant in the room though. Whatever plastic they used to make these cannons on the wings is just way too soft. I mean, look at that. They're properly bent and warped out of shape. Luckily, they're only attached by these little pegs on the ends of the wings here, so you can just pop them off, and then we'll go and stick them in some heat and see if we can get them straightened out. Hopefully just a bit of boiling water would help, because these need sorting, man. Alright, so just leave them to heat up and the plastic will go all soft and that's hot. And then you just hold them straight as they cool down, and hopefully they'll hold the shape then, and we won't have to keep doing this. With a long piece like this, it's easy to just grab both ends and just kind of pull it straight in the middle. Usually run it underneath a cold tap as you're doing this, and it should solidify straighter. I didn't notice when I bought this, but this piece here seems to have been like chewed up by a dog or something, I assume. It's not the end of the world, because I did buy this for basically pennies, but it is kind of annoying, but it's an easy fix. All you really got to do is take a lighter and just run it really quickly along there like this, and it should just melt away all the white, curled up, chewed up bits of plastic. I don't actually have a lighter available at the moment. I guess I'll have to take up smoking. They're definitely looking a bit straighter. On the left hand of the screen there, I mean, that one definitely worked better. On the right, you can see it's already starting to curl up again a little bit. I get the feeling I'm going to be going back and forth with this. As I said before, the main body of the ship is really nicely done. All those little panel line details, and then I really like this orange paint that they chose. I also actually kind of like the fact that they did it in sort of a dark charcoal grey rather than straight black. This end piece, I mean, I presume it's called a nose cone or something, is actually made out of a softer rubber, so you know, if you're a kid, you can't go ramming it into each other and break it. But pretty sure that's upside down. Yeah, that looks better to me. I suppose I could go and Google it and make sure that that's right. Nah, too lazy for that. It looks cool like this. That design on top makes sense. So yeah, back to the point I was making. It's nice and rubbery, which I like because that means I can drop it without breaking it. And I am a clumsy idiot. There is a little landing gear piece just towards the front on the bottom here. And, you know, it looks pretty good, to be honest. It's got a nice little bit of sculpt to it and whatever. It actually does hold the ship up. And I like how it swings in and out to just put it away a lot easier. But it does kind of run into that little rubber bit at the front. And then obviously the main thing with it is it's not really long enough. I mean, it should be probably at least double that, you know, the height that it should be off the floor. But whatever, the whole thing is kind of underscaled, really. It's not so bad as it is, and at least it works. Having another look at all this sculpted detail on the top towards the back, and again, it does look really, really good. It's obviously all a bit vague as to what it actually all is, but it works. These engine turbine things here really give the impression that there's actually a machine underneath there. And all this machinery, pipes, whatever behind BB-8 also look good, just again, needed some paint. And the same could be said for the back of the ship. I mean, look at all that machinery and piping and wires or whatever in the middle. It's really nice sculpt on that, but it's just completely lacking any paint. It's all just done in that flat grey plastic, which is kind of disappointing. The thrusters on the engines, yeah, they're nicely sculpted and there's a little bit of silver on it. And actually, if you look down there, there's actually a little screw inside there reflecting a bit of light. That's kind of accidentally kind of cool. But yeah, as you can see, the whole thing it needed some paint, man. Same thing again, really, for the little BB-8 in there. It's nicely sculpted enough, you know, it looks exactly like what it's meant to be. And the head is actually on a little ball, so you could swivel all the way around. It might actually be on an actual ball peg, because there's a little bit of wiggle in there too, so that's pretty cool. He's not removable though, because he actually functions as the button to open the S-foils at the back of the ship. And I actually think that's kind of cool. I mean, if he's just going to be stuck there in the back of the ship, then you might as well have some functionality to him. But, you know, running theme here, they just didn't bother painting the bottom half of him. I mean, you can clearly see it's just a big white ball. And then just behind him, there's another button here that you actually pull back, and then it closes the wings back up again. It's a pretty simple, easy to use function, and it blends in actually pretty well with all these pipes and mechanical bits at the back. And believe it or not, there's actually a little bit of sculpted detail inside the wings. See, everybody likes to say how cheap this is, but they went ahead and did that when they really didn't have to, and it actually looks pretty cool. It's worth pointing out though that the mechanism that holds the wings is kind of loose and a bit floppy. Just stepped out into the living room so we can get a better look at this whole thing in one shot. I mean, look at that. They did do a really good job with this ship. And yes, my wife decorated the whole living room pink. See that cannon on that side? It's definitely starting to go again. Whatever, let's get this cockpit open and we'll have a look at the figure inside there, shall we? See, now the cockpit is where the size issues really come into play. I mean, the canopy, it opens far enough, but it could definitely go a bit wider than that. Makes it kind of hard getting your figure in and out of there. Full honesty, I've only got little hands, and I'm struggling getting in there and wrestling this figure out of this seat. And if I'm going to struggle with it, then I'm going to assume that kids probably have some trouble too. I just removed the canopy for a sec, just so we can get a closer look inside that cockpit. It's pretty simple. There is a little bit of sculpted detail in there. And there's some stickers here on the front just to sort of represent the screen, although mine are starting to curl up a little bit. Alright, let's have a look at this figure of Poe then. And unfortunately, around this time, like I said, they dropped all the budget, so all the figures, they're all 5p away. I'm not a fan. I just think they're all crap, but at the same time, there's literally no other option for these, so unfortunately, if this is what you want, then this is what you're going to have to get. They did at least put in enough effort to sculpt, you know, his whole flight suit or whatever. It's got all the different zips and pockets and straps. I'm trying to find some positives here, because the sculpt on this particular one is weirdly really soft. I mean, it does at least do the trick. You can see from a distance who it's meant to be, so that's half the battle won, I suppose. His chest box is actually a separate sculpted piece, and that actually doesn't look too bad, so, you know, there you go, I'll give you that. He has got a little holster here on his side, but again, you know, buying things secondhand. His gun is missing, but, you know, if he's just going to sit in the cockpit of the ship, then I don't care, he doesn't really need it. And this tube here that's coming off his chest box, which just goes into his pocket, seemingly, it is actually a flexible rubber tube, so that's nice, but obviously, you got to be careful when you're moving them legs that you don't snap it or pull it out. Here you go. I mean, the sculpt on this helmet is actually pretty good. It's maybe a bit big on his head, but I actually quite like that. It looks like what it's meant to be. And it's important for this figure because it does the real good job of hiding this. What the hell is that? Man, that's ugly. Again, there's a lot of head sculpts from around this time where the sculpt was pretty good, but they just hadn't been painted properly. But not this one. It doesn't look anything like him at all, does it? He's got one of those proper dead-eyed sex doll faces. And what the hell is this smudge of brown on his cheek, man? They definitely did a better job of his face as they went on with later figures, which I'll actually show you here in a sec. Also getting right up close on this helmet, what the hell is that paint job? Look at it. Oh, the grey's just all splotched all over the visor. Man, that's bad even for this era of figures. He can't see shit out of there. Alright, so here's the later version of Poe that they released with the re-release of this X-Wing with the boosted engine. It's weird, they clearly knew how crap a job they did of this one, so it's like they just updated the whole mold. Yeah, side by side like this, you can clearly see that it is actually the exact same figure, but they went right in and redid like all the little details. Like for instance, this one is covered in like a real subtle-ish fabric kind of texture all over the whole jumpsuit, which really just makes it stand out, which was missing on this one, which when you look back at it, it just looks smooth as hell. So I'm really glad that they fixed that. And also, if you look at it, they clearly recolored a lot of this. This orange is much, much better. The two helmet sculpts seem to be mostly about the same really, but the newer one is a little bit smaller, which I actually think looks a lot better. And the colours between the two are just slightly different as well. Yeah, this newer head sculpt is just way better. And being totally honest with you, I don't even think that one's really that good either, but it's tons better than the original one. It actually looks like Oscar Isaac, where the other guy looks like whatever Lady Penelope's driver was called in Thunderbirds. I mean, Jesus Christ. Look at the difference between the two there. The newer one is quite clearly the better of the two, so I think I'll be keeping that. And then this one, see ya. Wait, no, hold on. I've got another Poe to compare him to. This is the Last Jedi one that come with that weird ski speeder thing. Again, totally different head sculpt, but this one is just clearly tons better as well. So, and here they are both standing next to the X-Wing, and I think they look pretty cool. I mean, this is obviously the better Poe, not the one that I threw away. I'm never picking that thing up ever again. But they definitely do work like this. It's just, obviously there's a bit of a size discrepancy with the actual ship. It should be way taller than that at the very least. Here's a little 5 POA BB-8, although he's more like 1 POA, but you know, whatever, he's cool. And when you see it all stood together like this, then yeah, I'm definitely pretty happy that I bought this. You do any Googling on this thing though, and everybody's main complaint is actually fitting him in the cockpit, so let's go and have a bash at that. Now, being undersized, it definitely doesn't fit in here as well as it should, but it's not as difficult as people make it sound. I mean, what's stupid is if you actually sit him in the chair where he should be with his head against the headrest, then the helmet's completely in the way of the canopy, you know? So you've kind of got to just shove him, okay, not that far down. Yeah, if you just sort of lean him down a little bit, then there's at least head space for him to close that. And it's not perfect really, is it? He obviously can see that he's not sat right in there. But I mean, at least he does fit, so you can fudge it a little bit, and I'm used to these Star Wars ships being undersized, so it's not the end of the world to me. And just for the sake of it, let's squeeze this guy in here as well. Obviously, he's got thinner clothes, so he does actually fit a little bit better. And you can close the lid a lot easier with him sat higher up, and that's most likely because he doesn't have a helmet on. Yeah, see, you put it on him, and all of a sudden it gets in the way again. It isn't great, to be honest. I better show off the bottom of the ship before I completely forget. You know, it's a bit more sparse with all the sculpted detail, but it is still there at least. And right here is a little cannon where there should be a little stupid bright red torpedo that goes in there. And then right here's the little button to fire it. I'm sure kids like that, but it's not my thing. I don't care that this is missing the missile. I never played with them as a kid either. Maybe my mum was right. I was a boring, miserable kid. So yeah, man, I am actually happy that I bought this. Most of the ships in my collection are all sort of prequels, Clone Wars era, so it's nice having something a little bit different. And it adds to kind of the world building of my sequels collection. Obviously, it's not perfect, and this one itself is actually kind of a little bit beaten up, but like I said, I got it for less than a tenner really, so I'm fine with ignoring any problems for that price. Like I said before, it's obviously not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I mean, I get it if you don't like the sequels, you know, not everybody likes everything. I don't want to go on a rant here, but let's face it, 90% of people just decided that they hated the sequels because the internet said they're bad, and most people don't bother thinking for themselves. If you listen to the people's problems that they said, you know, bad writing. Guess what else had bad writing? The prequels and the original trilogy. Bad acting. Guess what else had bad acting? The prequels and the original trilogy. Kylo Ren was so emo and whiny. Have you watched either The New Hope or Empire Strikes Back? Luke was the whiniest little turd you could possibly imagine, and everybody still loves him. Point being, not everybody likes everything, each to their own. But if you can't come up with your own reasons why, and you're just going to repeat what people said on Facebook 10 years ago, maybe you need to touch a little grass there. Oh, and if you had a problem with the fact that none of the main cast were white men, then little penis. Me personally though, I like them enough. They're not my favourite of all the films, but they're absolutely not the worst either, so I'm happy to have this ship and add it to my collection. This figure though, this is bad. I will probably just be taking the head off it, to be honest, and maybe if I've got a spare alien head or something, I'll just make it another random pilot and just stick it in the back. Until then though, it's just going in a tub. So don't forget to like this video, drop us a comment down below whining about how Disney ruined Star Wars, blah blah blah. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, there's plenty more videos coming. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.